Nowadays, many movies use visual effects to enhance our cinematic experience. And such is the expertise these days that the scenes you think are filmed in stunning locations are actually CGI composites shot in a green screen studio. After all, the world of movies has changed for the better. Hello everyone, and today we will look at some of our favorite movie scenes and how they actually look like before and after VFX. So, let's get started. At number 10, Aquaman. Creating the visual effects for a film that is mostly underwater was no easy feat. The VFX team did a great job in eventually making this film a great spectacle to watch. The major challenge was to recreate the large underwater environments filled with sea creatures and various characters in the film. For creating the huge Atlantis city in the film, ILM's team created over 200 buildings, including the signature jellyfish buildings. In addition, organic creatures were used to model underwater ships and were also designed to move that way. The team had to build over 150,000 ships to create the famous entrance of the city. The creatures were then created using keyframe animation to make it look real. For the underwater sequences, which covers most of the movie, the actors were shot using dry-for-wet technique on special tuning fork rigs. The VFX team then replaced the bodies of those actors with digital doubles in post-production. Coming to the out-of-water sequence consisting of the lighthouse, a full-sized house with the base of the tower was constructed by the VFX team. Eventually, the film was completed with a mammoth 2,300 visual effects. At number 9, The Martian. Do you know that the place that was found to be the most suited for shooting planet Mars in the film was Jordan, which has some stunning landscapes? Also, most of the film on Mars took place in a studio in Budapest. They created a giant green screen stage, which was one of the largest green screen stages in the world. On stage, they recreated a section of the surface of Mars and the HAB, which in the film, Mark Watney was shown to have survived for a long period of time. He was actually surrounded by a giant green screen 360 degrees so that the crew could shoot in any direction they wanted. The challenge for the team was to match the terrain in the film with the studio shots. The terrain was created using the wide-angle shots of Jordan, and then they matched the on-location shoots with the studio shots identically to create the beautiful Mars. For instance, if you look at this scene, it's impossible to figure out what's fake and what's real. Only when you see the on-stage location would you figure out that there's also real dirt and plants scattered across the ground, and not all was computer-generated. So Matt Damon may have looked like he was on the planet Mars for real the entire time around. To make everything you see in the film possible, it took a great deal of effort, and the total filming time for the film lasted almost 70 days. At number 8, Inception. The one thing that is common in most of Nolan's films is that he uses very less CGI and instead prefers using practical effects whenever possible. One famous scene in the film was the Paris City folding sequence. The Batman films became the inspiration for the scene. Guy Diaz, the designer, and Nolan took inspiration by watching the drawbridges being raised over the Chicago River in Batman films, which included sidewalks, lampposts, and the road surface, and how they were made to look as if the street itself was lifting up on a giant hinge. This inspired them to create the design of the folding street using the underlying hidden mechanism. The VFX supervisor Paul Franklin then had his artists produce concept sketches as they created rough computer animations to give them an idea of what the scene would look like while in motion. Nolan was then able to direct DiCaprio and Page during principal photography with the use of the rough computer animation that Paul had created. Thus, blending the practical and visual effects together, the director was able to create quite a few realistic-looking scenes rather than just building everything from scratch, as is the case with an entirely CGI creation. So, contrary to the other high-budget movies with more than 2,000 VFX shots, the film only involved 500 VFX shots. At number 7, Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle.
Damn, that is a man right there.
The Rock's expressions in the film looked so genuine and real that it never felt even for a second that he was shooting in front of a green screen rather than a real jungle. While the actor performed most of the stunts and action scenes himself, some of his dangerous and delicate encounters were rendered using CGI models of his character and inserting them seamlessly into the finalized movie. Here are some of the amazing visuals that the VFX artists were able to accomplish for the film. At number 6, Godzilla. Godzilla is a creature that exists completely out of the human world. Also, it's not very often that you see a mammoth 400-foot creature run at full tilt. Yes, there's a scene in the film during the final clash between the two giant creatures where Godzilla runs at almost 200 miles per hour. The scene was quite tricky as the effects team always had to look at it against details that the human brain understands. So they observed a lot of elements as a reference point: the speed against the buildings, the speed of the rain, and then found out the right balance in getting the creature to move as quickly as they could. The CG rendering was then applied to get the final shot. At number 5, The Day After Tomorrow. One of the best disaster movies of all time, The Day After Tomorrow has quite a few scenes. For instance, the tidal wave that hit New York City was quite a visual spectacle to watch. And yes, it's not an easy task to create such a scene, like just pouring a bucket of water in front of a green screen, the stuff we see on the web. For the destruction of the city, the VFX team utilized a 13-block-sized 3D model of Manhattan, which was then textured with over 50,000 scanned photographs of the actual city. Over 1,000 artists from almost 9 VFX companies worked on the film for over a year to create the amazing scenes. Before moving to the next scene, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you get instant notifications of our new video uploads. Now, at number 4, Boardwalk Empire. Such has been the technological advancements that nowadays it's getting quite difficult to figure out if a particular scene is a real one or created with special effects. Boardwalk Empire is an American TV series set out in the 1920s but shot only a decade back. So, to create the olden days, a lot of scenes had to be computer generated. For instance, if we look at this scene in a cruise ship, it'll look like a real scene with a ship cruising in the middle of an ocean. Instead, the ocean is a digital rendering created using green screen as the backdrop. Here are a few more sequences from the film created using VFX and the green screen. At number 3, Thor: Ragnarok. This movie is also known for its humor, apart from some stunning visuals and acting. The scenes involving Thor and the Hulk in the film were quite a treat to watch. No, not this one. It's just a funny on-set camaraderie between the stunt artist and Chris Hemsworth. To create the Hulk, the artist on set was covered in green body paint and would replicate the intended motions of the character to help the VFX artists. In addition, stunt actor Paul Lowe, who is under 5 feet tall, stood in for Hemsworth during some of his interactions with the Hulk so that the Hulk stuntmen would look proportionally correct. At number 2, The Twilight Saga: Breaking Dawn. The wolf scenes from the Twilight Saga are known for their natural look, and that is exactly how we would like to imagine. However, it is not quite the same as it looks. There is a scene where Mackenzie Foy, who portrays Bella Swan's daughter in the film, rides a huge wolf. This is how the scene was shot in front of the green screen. Now, these are a few more scenes from the film and how they look without VFX. So finally, the number 1 movie in our list, Spider-Man: Far From Home. Tom Holland worked tirelessly to perform as many of his own stunts as he could, but some of the scenes were quite epic to do it in real. So eventually, VFX team made that job easier. The final battle in the film was created with over 300 VFX shots. For the fight sequence, the VFX team created a digital model of the tower bridge, in addition to the combined elements such as water, tentacles, rocks, lava, and the lightning. In addition, the sky and the environment were digitally replaced in most of the sequence. So guys, hope you enjoyed this video, and what do you think of these famous VFX scenes? And which one of the 10 movie effects is your favorite? Let us know in the comments below. Do like and share this video with your friends on social media. For more such amazing things, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. And finally, thanks for watching.